Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome in and happy Friday to all of you guys out there. Hopefully, you guys are having a great start to the upcoming weekend. And man, time is just going by so fast. We are already at the end of January, basically. I mean, you know, we got like another 8 days, and that's it. First month of the new year, done. Um, So anyways, yeah. What up, Anthony? Welcome in and glad to have you here. Appreciate you for jumping on in. Titus, what's up, man? What's going on? Happy Friday to you too as well. Waiting for, there's a couple more people coming in. And see what's kind of going on there. So, yeah, we got a little bit of stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, 48 hours with Boost Mobile already, and yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys what I think coming back into Boost Mobile to give them another shot and see how things is looking for them with all these recent changes to them, to see what's kind of happening right now. So I do have Boost Mobile service, and I'm going to talk about it in the beginning of this video. We're also going to talk about a little bit of news that's happened throughout the week, which is obviously concerning Verizon and their unlock policy and how this has kind of shifted the way things are in the mobile tech space and the telecom industry. So we'll get into a little bit of that. Follow up with this trend of going against annual upgrades, and are people finally waking up, in my opinion. And so that will be a segment that will also be initially cut and shared on the second channel, as that is mainly where the idea is kind of pertaining to. So a lot of discussion in today's podcast, and hopefully you guys are doing okay and you guys are chilled and relaxed. If not, go ahead and grab your favorite beverage and a snack or whatever whatever the case may be. And if you have questions, please ask them. Don't be afraid to ask questions or anything like that. I don't mind at all getting questions and kind of just, discussing whatever the question may be. It doesn't always have to pertain to the subjects that I'm going to be talking about, but as long as it kind of stays within, the overall theme, we're good. So, yeah, anyways, I did a thing, right? So, I have a Mobile X service. I still have my visible line. That one I'm going to hold on to just because, it's on that 26-month promo. So it's $19 a month for pretty much unlimited everything. So I'm going to hold on to it because I can use that for, like, if I want to live stream when I'm out and about. Then, I have a secondary device that can do the live streaming or, whatever I'm going to be showing on the live stream. So, there's that. I also have T-Mobile as well. Shout out to Brandon for hooking me up with that line. I still have it. And, yeah, so it just got very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And so let's see, thinking about hopping back and grabbing a line with Boost. Their $10 promo is looking good. Yeah, that's why I went ahead and just decided to grab them. They do have a 3-month, like your first 3 months is $10 promo that's going on right now. So I mean, Boost Mobile is going to be tossing out a lot of deals. Let's not kid a lot of people out there, but Boost Mobile has had such a bad rap for such a long time, and I don't think they're ever going to come out of that, no matter what is said and no matter what is done. I mean, Boost Mobile is Boost Mobile, right? Like before Dish acquired them, when they were under the Sprint umbrella, people didn't like the services all too much. I mean, this Boost Mobile compared to the old Boost Mobile under the Sprint umbrella, this one, in my opinion, seems more needy. They are desperately trying hard, because in the old Boost Mobile days, we didn't have deals that were like $10 for the first 3 months. I mean, Boost Mobile was just Boost Mobile, right? They had a $50 plan, full unlimited with, X amount of hotspot. Now, that was pretty much it. I didn't have too much. Nowadays, when you go to Boost Mobile and you look at what they're offering and everything, I mean, you just see all these different promotional deals and whatnot. So, I mean, those are things that, yeah, it can't be overlooked. Buying directly from OEM Unlocked has become a more compelling choice than buying through a carrier. For most users, especially if your priority is long-term value, flexibility, and control. Absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct on that one. Yeah, so let's kind of just look at Boost Mobile here. But yeah, definitely. It makes more sense for people to just buy unlocked. I mean, if a lot of people are concerned about a device being locked down to a carrier, then yeah, you know, you might want to start going to directly to the manufacturer, the OEM, and buy from them. My sister has been with Boost since day one. She agrees. They have kind of gone crazy. Yeah, yeah, they have. They have gone crazy. You are not far from that. Um, and that's just because of desperation. Like to be honest, I mean, my perception of Boost Mobile has changed over the years since, you know, at one point being employed by them and just kind of seeing how they do things. Now, I know this ain't the same as when Boost Mobile was with Sprint, um, because I was working with Sprint at the time. Before that, like before I was working with Boost Mobile, I was working with Sprint, and we would always have Boost reps come to our, our call center, and they would bring a bunch of phones, and they would be like, yeah, you guys work for Sprint, so you guys get a discount if you sign up. And then we like every employee there that day would get like a raffle ticket, and then they were raffling off like, three different phones, right? Like a low end, a mid range, and then like near flagship type phones. And it was super cool. It was super cool with them, but yeah, those times have changed. You look at Boost Mobile now, like they're just doing all kinds of crazy things. But one of the big things that's hurting the reputation of Boost is that things that are not working. And I could tell you guys, 48 hours after returning to them to try out services and see how things is going, now that Boost is proud to represent themselves as a hybrid MVNO. Like, get the frick out of here! You guys were already that to begin with. It's a nice flashy name to just kind of throw in the fact that their attempt to become the fourth carrier failed. Not hating on them, just telling truths. I don't know why people get so butthurt when you tell the truth about things. Like I know a lot of people have really shunned Boost Mobile, so they're surprised that there's even anyone out there that would defend them. But there are people out there who absolutely like the service, and they will go to war with people who say otherwise. Carriers do give good deals on devices, though. That is true. That is true. So here's my thing on it, right? Because you have a lot of sides that's like, when it comes to the carrier deals and stuff like that. Well, actually, I'm gonna save that for that segment. Let me get through the Boost segment, and then we'll get into the whole device unlock and whatnot. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But, I have a good thing to kind of like, speak on that, Titus. So it's a good thing you mentioned that. So right now, Boost Mobile's going crazy with the promotional deal. This deal is actually right now currently happening, $10 a month for the first 3 months when you sign up with Boost Mobile. And that's a pretty good deal. The plan it's based on is a $25 plan. So it's 30 gigs of premium data, and then you're throttled after that, But I mean, if you're like always on home Wi-Fi, then you'll be pretty much will be okay. Anyways, yeah. So here's the plan, and it says unlimited, $10 a month for the first 3 months, and then $25 forever. I don't know. Every time I see forever, I think of that kid from The Sandlot, Squints, and then he's telling that story about Myrtle's dog, and then he's all like, forever. When I first started with Boost, they were with Sprint, $50 for 2 gigabytes. Then they went to the shrinkage plans, which was yeah, man, yeah, you've been with them for a while, because I remember that shrinkage plan, and that plan was pretty dope, right? It was like what, like every 3 months you paid your bill on time, and they reduced your bill by $5. Man, they did all kinds of things with Boost Mobile back in the day. I was with Boost Mobile when they were on the IDA network with the push-to-talk phones. That was funny as hell. I had a Moto i425 with the Moto Clutch, which what everyone called, oh, that's the ghetto BlackBerry. Because I had a full QWERTY keyboard, but it had the push-to-talk button. It was dope as hell. Of course, I had a WAP browser, right? And then, didn't have a full web browser like we do on our smartphones today. So, yeah. I mean, that was back in the day. God, man, I miss those days, It was exciting going into telecom and seeing what they were doing, and now it's just very, very, very strange. But anyways, yeah. So I remember the shrinkage plan. You're still on the $25 early access plan. It's been great. Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people who were on, basically beta testing Boost Mobile, right, was the early access plan, which gave you certain perks that you don't get now with the $25 plan, right? So if you had that, you definitely don't want to give that up. I'm just saying. But anyways, yeah, so this new promo also comes bundled with this promo right here, which, it says up to $330 in rewards from Chime. So like they've partnered with Chime, which is an online banking company, and you can have a debit card, and you can get what they call a credit builder. Credit builder card's okay. I mean, you basically load funds into it, and as you make transactions, it processes them like a credit card payment rather than a debit payment. So it does report to the credit bureau. So your credit history is reported of these payments, that you're making with the credit builder and whatnot. But it doesn't build your credit points by much, right? You don't see a real big spike. So if you have like fair credit, like a 630, something like that, 650, and you're using a credit builder, it's not like you're going to jump to a 700 in like 2 or 3 months. I mean, it'll probably take you like 10 to 12 months to get to 700. You'll probably see like a 651, 652, 653 growth like every couple of months. So it's not really something I would say like it's a hack to build your credit up quickly, but it does help though. I mean, it does kind of add into that. If you're doing multiple things to kind of control your credit score, it does kind of help in a way. But anyways, so Chime partnered with Boost Mobile. And if you sign up for new service and you've never had Chime before, then this is going to apply to you. Let me just emphasize this. If you've ever had Chime in the past, this may not work for you because you have to be a new user to Chime. And in order to have Chime, yes, your social security number is something that is given in the application process of signing up. So they may be like you already have an account unless you closed that account completely. Then you may be able to take advantage of this. But really what it is, in a nutshell, and I explained this in the YouTube shorts, but so you sign up for Boost Mobile with the Chime promo, and after your first and second month, on your third month of Boost Mobile and paying for Boost Mobile with your Chime banking, the third month you'll get a $15 credit added to your Chime account, and then on the fourth month you get another $15 added. So that's a total of $30 in credit. Now it says you can earn 330 in rewards. So where's the other 300 come from? Well, don't worry, I got you. I got all of you guys with this knowledge. So the $300 comes in the form of when you set up direct deposit with Chime. So if you set up a reoccurring direct deposit with Chime, and the value of that direct deposit coming in is over $500, then you will receive the $300 reward credit onto your Chime account. So that's how you earn $330 with Chime just for signing up with Boost Mobile. And then the other cool thing that's not really mentioned in the title of the promo, but that's actually pretty cool, is that if you do this combo, you technically get Boost Mobile for free. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the 330. Take those rewards out of the equation. There is another reward that you earn for 12 months for signing up with Chime with Boost Mobile. That is not the 330 promo that they're giving in rewards. And that is a $25 kickback just for being a Boost customer. So if you're on the $25 plan, which obviously this promo is in conjunction with the $25 plan only, then what happens is you pay your phone bill. That's $25. Ah, cool. Later on in that month, you'll get a kickback of $25. So technically, you're not really paying for a phone bill because it's being covered, it's being given back to you. And that's for 12 months. So basically, you get Boost Mobile for a whole year free on the $25 30 gigabyte plan, which is not a bad offering, because people will be like, well, Boost Mobile has a $50 plan and a $60 plan, and like the $50 plan and $60 plan, I mean, yeah, they're pretty cool, they're okay, let's go to plans here, and then this is something that I really want to point out, and I pointed this out in the shorts, so I just kind of wanted to emphasize more on it. Right, so here are the 3 plans that Boost Mobile has. I have no interest in going in the Unlimited Plus. I damn sure have no interest in going into the Unlimited Premium. I don't see a reason why. I think those 2 plans should offer more data. Honestly, With all these deals that Boost is making with AT&T, I honestly think that they should have a negotiation deal with AT&T and do the unlimited premium at 100 gigs and doing the unlimited plus at 50 gigs. Here's why. So when you compare the three plans that you have right there, you can see, right, the $25 plan, basically unlimited talk and text data, no contract required, $25 forever. So basically, the $25 plan is basically the Boost Infinite plan. That's why it has the infinity symbol up there when it says unlimited talk, text, and data. But it's not really fully unlimited. We know that because there's only 30 gigabytes of premium data. And people are like, 30, I can't do 30, do a lot of things. Okay, yeah, that's why you should look elsewhere. Look, I'm not trying to sell people on joining up with Boost Mobile. I can care less what you choose as your network provider, I wish I never got rid of the early access plan. Me too. You and I are in the same boat. Me too. I wish I never gave it up. I wish I would have just kept paying it, whatever, but stupid me, I let it go. But they pissed me off too. I don't want to get into that because then I'll just get mad at them again. But anyways, so it's 30 gigs of premium data. Okay, you can make that work. And I'll go back on this again, and I don't care if people get mad at me. I'll keep reiterating this until my point is made across on the other side of the field of people who always love to come at me with this and be like, it's only 30 gigs. What am I going to do with it? Dude, most people freaking use home Wi-Fi. You bet. I do a lot on my phone when it comes to media consumption and, just like playing some games. Like not heavy, extensive games. I'm not a person that plays Call of Duty. I don't wish to be in the military, so I don't have, the dreams where I'll just be a safe military soldier and do it on a video game. I could give a shit about that. I don't care. I play like Swamp Attack. That was something that's fun. Pokemon Go. I mean, I've been a big fan of Pokemon since I was a kid, so, being able to live that out in like real world type of thing is pretty freaking cool as hell. I don't care what anyone says. I like playing that game. And I don't even go over 30 gigs. I don't. That's why the Mobile X line, it has a promo where it's giving you 50 gigs, and that's up until like April. April is where your plan will be changed back down to 30 gigs instead of 50 gigs on the $25 plan, unless Peter decides to extend that further. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? Mobile X just always throws a curveball to be super competitive. But anyways, 30 gigs, it could be made to work. You got home Wi-Fi and you're always on it, then, what the hell are you complaining about? You're on Wi-Fi, so you're not even touching your 30 gigs. And then there's the other people that's like, yeah, Boost Mobile's only got 30 gigs, but I always run 2 SIMs on my phone. If you're running 2 SIMs on your phone and say Boost is one of them and it has 30 gigs, say you chose Visible as your other one, then what the hell? You got another one that's like basically running Verizon unlimited. So just use that as your primary data and hit where it tells you to switch in times where like the network is weak. So if Verizon sucks, it'll temporarily switch over to the Boost connection, which is, we all know, is AT&T, and that will be for a monetary moment until it switches back over to Verizon. And you're not ever gonna go over 30 gigs. I think people just love to complain and bitch today about every little thing. They expect the moon and the sun and the stars for $1. That's insane. Okay, let's get a little realistic here. But anyways, I'm like, hashtag ADHD problems. Because I just went far fucking left field there. Taking it back to my point I've been trying to say here. 30 gigs premium data, and then you go up to the unlimited plus plans, $50, and it gets you 40 gigs of premium data. That blows an elephant's goat with like no lube, real bad. A 10 gigabyte difference by doubling the price. See, it would make sense, in my opinion, my humble opinion, if the $50 plan gave you 60 gigs of premium data and then 100 gigs on the unlimited premium plan for $60. That would be much better, right? You guys agree? I mean, if you're gonna double $25 to $50, might as well double the amount of premium data. But if you're gonna be stingy with it, then go 50 gigs. People will be forgiving if the $50 plan was 50 gigs because they feel like they're only paying $1 per gig. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, these plans are not going to last long. And I'll tell you guys why at the end of my little spiel here about Boost Mobile. But anyways, if you wanted the $50 plan because of 40 gigs of premium data and you don't really care too much about, savings up to $300 on a new phone, You don't really use hotspot. You don't really travel, or you don't have people internationally that you call. And you don't want to be on postpaid, right? Buy now, pay later availability. That's what that means, is postpaid style. You just want unlimited talk and text, and you just want data to access, your Instagram and whatnot. You can go on a $25 plan and pay $35 a month. Just do the add-on. Add on the extra 10 gigs for $10. That bumps you up to 40 gigs. That means you'll get unlimited talk and text. You'll get 40 gigs of premium data, and then slow crawling data after that. And that's only $35 a month. That's $15 less than the unlimited plus. And all you're sacrificing is the $300 device savings and whatever, whatnot. Let's see. Interesting to see if they change their plans this year. If their deal with AT&T goes through. Yeah, I mean, well, what I mean by, that they're going to be changing their plans. And that's not just Boost Mobile. It's everybody. They're going to have to change their plans. See, when the iPhone 17 released with 256 gigs of internal storage as the base storage startout option, obviously is a flag sign to let people know, because apps are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and these apps actually require data usage. This has always been my thing that I've been, kind of approaching carriers with this idea, because everything today is becoming data reliant. Right? If you want a premium voice phone call experience, then you have to be using VoLTE, or at best VoNR, right? That is data counted against your data pool when you're using it. But every time you send a message on RCS messaging, it counts against your data. Some reps, when I talk to them over the phone, they say, "Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't." But when I wasn't using anything other than that, and my data was still being calculated, and I know there's other apps that are data reliant always, like a weather app, to maintain the widget and also to keep updated. It's using data in order to download that information, so it's always staying up to date. If you have sync always on, then it's using data because it's always syncing your emails and everything like that, like intervals of 1 minute, like every 60 seconds it just downloads new info, which is why I turned that off, so that way it's not like burning up a lot of data. That's other reason why that my data usage is not so big, because on my devices I do not have auto sync turned on. I don't. Every time I open the app, it syncs information and it updates. So if I'm not in the app, I don't need it updating in the background. I just don't. So anyways, a lot of what we do on our smartphones is very data dependent. And so I've been, trying to, get these carriers to understand, by giving them feedback and everything, that they should have something in place where, like, if you're using RCS, if you're making a phone call using VoNR or VoLTE, that the data that's being consumed in those actions are not counted towards your data pool. And yes, it is possible to do that. Okay, you look at carriers in the UK, in Europe and stuff like that, and you see them, they offer you these plans, and it's like you have unlimited talk and text, you have 5 gigabytes of data, and then people are always questioning, like, what? How could it deal with 5 gigs of data? Well, because the other part of that plan is that you get to pick, I think, like 3 or 5 apps where the data doesn't count. So if you choose like Facebook, if you choose YouTube, or whatever the case may be, right? When you're using those apps, the data that you're using is not counted against your 5 gigs that you have per month. So the 5 gigs you have per month is for things like, if you're going to download a movie or download music or something like that, right? Doesn't go against your social media stuff. And like, yeah, that'd be cool if that type of plan would come here to the US, but these carriers know if they do that, it's going to be costing them more. They make their monies off being as tight with the network as it is. It's like one of the oldest, smoke and mirrors ever said in the telco industry, where a lot of these companies battle it out with trying to become this, the supreme ruler of the data network. They tell you, we got the best network. It's the fastest. It's the most reliable. Then why the hell is it limited? And then when we ask, why is it limited? Then you tell us like, oh yeah, they keep the network so that way everybody's happy and content, that, we have to set some limitations. Well, then if that's the case, then why are you calling yourself the best out there? Why are you saying that your network is the most reliable out there? Ah, see? Smoke and mirrors, right? That's just one of the things that I wish that these carriers would do. I really stress this over to Mobile X because Peter's always been open-minded for ideas and stuff like that. I mean, I've never really got a word back as to why he would never consider it. He never said he wouldn't consider it. He just never really talked about it. And that was always my thing, was just like, hey, can we put it in a perspective where, Vonner calls, Vault calls, RCS is not counted against your data pool. I don't know, maybe Mobile X does it that way, because one of the craziest things is that, Mobile X, when you use the services, the data usage that I've been doing on it doesn't even, comparing it to, like, say on Google Fi, which also is metered data, and I would compare like how they calculated my usages, and Google Fi was like, in one day I used 2 gigs, and in the same way that I was using the phones, and I've done this test, and I was stupid and didn't record it because I was just being curious to being curious. Okay, I wasn't looking to make content out of it. And in the Mobile X phone that I was doing stuff on, the exact same way I was doing it on the Google Fi phone, and then the Mobile X was like, oh yeah, you only use like 576 megabytes. I'm like, wait, what? That's a significant difference, right? 2 gigs versus under 600 megabytes. Like, wow, what the hell does Google Fi calculate? But then Google Fi calculates the same way that T-Mobile calculates, and what the hell is T-Mobile calculating as usage? Very interesting, very interesting. Maybe I should recreate that scenario and actually make content out of it. So I mean, hey, that's yeah, it is what it is. Is what it is. But anyways, yeah. So one of the things I've already noticed already with Boost Mobile being back with them, it's not a good look for them. Their app still needs work. Okay. I love Boost Mobile. That's awesome. It's awesome that you love Boost Mobile. I'm happy that they're working out for you. So far the services are good. I'll admit that. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But their app does need some work. Not that it needs to, like a user interface change or anything like that. It doesn't need those things. What it does need is to function properly. So I'm trying to see like how my data usage looks on Boost Mobile, and I went all day yesterday without being on Wi-Fi at all, using the Boost Mobile connection. I was on 5G Plus, which is the AT&T side, and this morning I went into the app to look to see what my usage is, and it still says 0 out of 30 gigs, and I'm like, wait a minute. I always get scared when it starts doing that because of past problems that some of you guys are already aware of when it comes to Boost Mobile. You guys remember, like, there were days where people were like, hey, yeah, I'm on my 3rd day into my build cycle, and then it says I used all my data already, and now my data is like super slow. And of course, Boost Mobile can't reset that, right? They'll tell you, we can't reset that. I'm just like, that's not good. I like to know how much data I'm using, because then if I see like a huge spike, I can look on my end to see if something on my end caused that spike in data usage, or if it's a company error or system error through the company, So that's probably the only complaint that I have right now with Boost Mobile. The other thing that I'm going to be trying out probably next week is device switching, right? Because I have a bunch of unlocked devices that are eSIM capable, because my Pixel 10 currently has the Boost Mobile service on it, along with the T-Mobile service on it. So I'm running dual SIM on that, and then the Pixel 7 has my visible SIM, and then the 9A has Mobile X. So yeah, basically I'm gonna see how the switch goes if I switch it over from the Pixel 10 to the Pixel 9A, and seeing how that works out. But I looked through the app. It lets you do it through the app so far, from what I can see. So I'll make a video when I do the device swap. When I do it, I'll make a video doing it. I just have to be careful because it's gonna have like a lot of private info, so I got to make sure that I black those out so that way people can't see them. But I don't mind doing a eSIM device swap on Boost Mobile to show people how it's done, how it works, and how efficient it is. Right now, when it comes to swapping devices, the king in the MVNO space and prepaid space currently right now goes to Mobile X. It's so easy to like swap devices, and I'm sure, I don't know if Peter Adderton would be happy or pissed, but I'm just gonna admit it anyways. I have done about 30 eSIM device swaps, and I'm not even past my full month on Mobile X. What up, Sneed? I'm not even past my first month with Mobile X, and I've done 30 eSIM device swaps. I've been switching between the Pixel 10, the Pixel 9a, the Pixel 7, the Pixel 6a, the Pixel 7a, and the only one that well, no, did it work? No, it didn't work. The only one that it fails to connect to for some reason is my Galaxy S21. Like, my Galaxy S21 reads that there is a SIM available. And even scanning the QR code from Mobile X could make it so much easier to do it, right? Like, it'll auto download to your device, but if it doesn't auto download to your device, you can request a QR code sent to your email, and then you scan the QR code. But the problem with the Galaxy S21 that I have is that either way that I'm trying to install the Mobile X eSIM, it downloads it up to like 87%, and then it says it could not install eSIM. And I didn't want to, waste the time of Mobile X expert care people, because it's not that big of a deal. So I was like, okay, I have a hiccup with installing that SIM on my Galaxy S21. Is it going to be a problem trying to put it on another device? Because the IMEI had already been updated on the Mobile X side. So I went to my Pixel 7, plugged into IMEI, and then hit check. It did a IMEI check, said the phone was compatible, and then it pushed the eSIM through, and the eSIM downloaded on the Pixel 7. So right now, in my opinion, the king of eSIM device swapping is Mobile X. It's very easy. Visible, it's kind of easy. They got a lot more security involved with theirs, and by right, that's cool too. I like having security. So a bunch of security codes that are going to be given throughout the process of device swapping on eSIM with Visible, and then yeah. So I don't know I don't know Boost Mobiles, because I haven't done it before. Previous times that I've been on Boost Mobile, I've had physical SIM. And so with the Pixel 10 having the new Boost service on it, taking advantage of the 3 months for $10. And I'll do a device swap next week to see like how easy it is. If I run into any hiccups, please, dear, everything of, the holiness of Jeebus and everything, I don't want to have headaches. That's the only thing I'm scared of. I'm scared of having headaches, of just dealing with Boost Mobile customer care and having some really crappy ones. I mean, I just hate to throw out. I don't like doing that. When I call customer care, I don't act like a brainiac know-it-all and yeah, you should be doing this. I don't tell them how to do their job, even if I know how to do their job. I just let them do it, because the one thing I've learned, if you tell a rep how to do their job and you annoy them, then they just purposely kind of like slow down on what they're doing without making it too noticeable, so you can't complain to their manager and get them in trouble, but they purposely will. They purposely will take their time to type out a very long notative note for your account. And their managers are not going to get mad at them for that, because they like those detailed notes placed in a customer's account. Lets other people know exactly what happened on the account. But of course, it wastes your time as a customer. So yeah, I never tell them to like, hey, I know how to do this. Click the purple Skittles button. It gives you all the steps of troubleshooting. I don't do none of that. Yes, there's a thing there in the system that they call the purple Skittles button. It's a button that brings up a troubleshooting checklist based upon what the issue is that you're dealing with. Whether it's network connectivity, phone calls are not working, device is not power, whatever the case may be. So like Boost reps don't have to be knowledgeable in it. They have an encyclopedia that does it for them. And I don't know, AI is a thing now, so they maybe updated their systems and now they have like an AI assistant on it. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if carriers all do this now and they all have like a little AI assistant thing that just pretty much like helps out. That would be absolutely crazy, because that'd be kind of cool. But then again, that's also leaning in towards, we don't need a live rep anymore. And yeah, because it's going to come towards that. But as I was saying earlier, again, hashtag Tito's got ADHD, because I just went far fucking left field from where I was going. What I was trying to point out is that like, a lot of the apps and stuff that we use on our phones use a lot of data. So it doesn't surprise me if eventually in a year or so, we're going to start seeing a shift in all these metered data plans, right? So seeing like a shift from 30 gigs to 60 gigs, a shift from 40 gigs to, 80 gigs, and a shift from 50 to 100 gigs, right? Like the same way as in storage capacity on smartphones need to start moving upward because apps are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. 128 gigs of internal storage, fine by me. I can make that work. But I am not a fool to know that other people don't have more apps that they use compared to me, because I don't use a lot. And so their phone, they could be using a lot of apps that require a lot of, not just cached data, but just data in itself built up. And we could be seeing apps being as large as 5 gigs in the next couple of years. I mean, when you look back at Facebook was like what? The file size of it was like under 1 megabyte in the very, very early days of Facebook. And little by little, as they added in features and things into Facebook, it grew. It became, a 15 megabyte file, became a 62 megabyte, app size, became 120, 300. Now it's like 1.6 gigabytes in size. That's a significant change. And so while app sizes change, the amount of data used by these apps are changing. AI is being implemented into a lot of things. AI constantly, is connected to data, so they do need to give a little bit more data to be fair. What are they going to sacrifice out of us? Shit, I don't know. I have no idea. So yeah, anyways, that's like my 48 hours with Boost Mobile, and we'll see how it goes after 90 days. If I keep the line, if I give it to one of my kids to have, or if I just completely let it go. But so far, data speeds and voice quality and calling in Phoenix, Arizona has been fine. I did one speed test. Because I'm not trying to use like the data from it for, to like burn up 30 gigs just doing nothing but speed tests. But I did do one just to see. This was like a block away, so let me show you guys. Anyways, yeah. That's what I got. 408 down, 13.9 up, and the ping was 26 milliseconds. So that was in Glendale, Arizona. So that's a speed test that I ran. Yeah, pretty interesting. Also this week, we've been dealing with a lot of videos regarding Verizon's decision to switch up their device unlock policy, not just for postpaid, but also for all their value brands, right? Under TracFone, Straight Talk, and all that, including Visible. I guess, it was dropped in a comment in Reddit. Somebody out there, one of the most oddest places to really have like tech conversations, because people get very testicle in there. And yeah, so I don't hang in there too long, but they said that it affects Visible by Verizon as well. So 365 days to unlock a device on their their value brands and prepaid. And then of course the device financing payoff, and I think it's 365 days too as well on postpaid. Or I think it's just only device payoff. Device financing payoff, I think. It's just for postpaid. But anyways, yeah, it brings up the question, because people are like, well, who's the best carrier to go to get a really good deal on the phone? Because people are still looking for deals. And I'm not going to shit on people who do that. Like, I'm not the gold standard. And like, my opinions are not the gold standard either. I would go unlocked, because you don't have to worry about dealing with asking a carrier to unlock your phone if you wanted to go somewhere else. Because the carrier deals are still worth it to those customers who don't really do the whole musical chairs. They don't carrier hop. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that they wanted to kind of slow down on. Like, Verizon had, a lot of people leaving them. And it wasn't because they were bad. Even though like metrics would say like, oh yeah, Verizon has the highest amount of churn. It has the highest amount of people leaving them, leaving out of the other carriers. So they would naturally assume like Verizon was just bad. quality was bad, service was bad, everything. And it's not even the case. It's just some people are like, hey, yeah, I really want that Moto Razr, or like I really want that iPhone 17, really want it. So I'll just put up with Verizon for 2 months until it's unlocked, and then after that, then like I'll cancel services and I'll go somewhere else, or I'll take it back, to my T-Mobile account. Like someone can have T-Mobile, someone can have AT&T, and that's their primary phone, and so they'll go to Verizon to get the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the burnt orange color, whatever the hell they call it, cosmic orange. Sorry, not burnt orange, cosmic orange. And then yeah, they'll use it on Verizon for like 6 months as a secondary phone, with their primary phone being on AT&T. And then once the phone becomes unlocked, that's when they move it over to their AT&T line. And then they either cut off the Verizon line, or they keep the Verizon line for 1 more month as a secondary line on their iPhone, and then they cut it off. They're trying to stop that. I know there's a lot of things that we can point out, and a lot of stuff behind the scenes that seems just really bad. And yes, the overall thing is that these carriers are using it as a tool to lock you in. This is why we say that they are locking customers in. They're not trying to let customers just go, because customers are just going. There's not a way to gauge. There might be a way, but it's not a way that's implemented where they can gauge real customers' experience versus those who are just trying to get a better deal on the phone. Because phones have been elevated to this status today where, like, they were used as a way to declare your status, right? Like, oh, I'm a somebody because I got an iPhone. Like, I'm part of Team Blue Bubble. I mean, oh my God, I don't want to snap off on this subject because I find it so stupid. But anyways, yes, there's a status behind, the type of phone that you have, if you're within those types of circles. Phones have become a fashion statement. Like, oh, look at me, I'm somebody with a folding screen phone. Bite my tongue as best as I can. So I don't want to go off on a tangent rant about that. But, so people will kind of try and take shortcuts. Like, who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if there were people who were big fans of Pixels that they would go to like something like Google Fi and take advantage of their promotional offers, because Google Fi does not lock down any of their phones. And then, they burn their credit financing the phone just to get it, and then they're like, yeah, I'll pay it off later, so I'll just leave now, take it to my provider, and then they get a bill from Google Fi, which is their final bill plus the the remaining balance of the finance phone, and then they're like, yeah, and then they pay it off later. You know what I mean? But does that hurt Google Fi? Yeah, it absolutely does. It shows that someone jumped into Google Fi and jumped out real quick, making people assume bad service, and that could be furthest from the truth. So, yeah, in a way, there's a reason that I'm like, okay, I understand why Verizon did it. Of course, I believe that these are phones, especially if you paid full MSRP for the phone and you own it, you should be able to do what you want to do with it. Like the bootloader situation with Verizon. Like, I can't install Evolution X on my Pixel 7 because it's a Verizon model. The bootloader's locked. So, and Verizon will tell you, talk to Google. They can do it. And Google says, we have nothing to do with that. Verizon's the one that required proprietary software lock on the bootloader. You need to request it from them. And then that's where I look at Verizon and say, because that's messed up. Like, just unlock my damn bootloader. Or allow my phone to flash and install the actually unlock software version of that Android software for that phone, which enables the OEM unlock toggle to not be grayed out and allow me to select it and unlock the bootloader. I mean, I'm like, when it comes to bootloaders, when it comes to custom software, I'm like JG Wentworth. It's my Android and I want to unlock it now, type of thing. Same way with OnePlus adding anti-rollback protection, hardware-wise, right? It comes in the form of a software update, but it's intertwined into the hardware, deeply integrated with a fuse. That if you trip that fuse, it lets OnePlus know that you unlocked your bootloader and stuff like that. But if you downgrade to an older version of Android, you can hard brick your phone where it's beyond recoverable. So, OnePlus. That's the OnePlus way. Flagship killer right there. It's more like smartphone killer right there. I don't like when they do stuff like that. But anyways, you know, people's credits are going to be impacted, and that's really hard to get off your record, especially when they sell that debt to debt collectors. And debt collectors are like, they're always like hounding you and stuff like that. And of course, you can put your number on a do not call list, DNC list, and they can't call you and everything like that. But it stays on your record for a while. And then if you want to get like that really nice car you've been saving up for, and you have enough just to put a good amount of down payment on it, so you can finance the rest of it and own the car right then and there and start driving it. And then your credit score is impacted by the amount of negative marks on your credit. I mean, that's going to be one of them. Like, yeah, you owe a bill for this phone that you didn't fully pay off, and you've kept it, you're using it as yours. And I think that's punishment enough. That's just me. That's me. Anyway, so yeah, you can buy unlocked from the manufacturer straight if you want your phone unlocked and you want the freedom to do whatever you want to do with it, take it to whatever carrier you want to do. Then yeah. But if you're not a carrier hopper, you've been on like, some of you guys have mentioned here, been on Boost Mobile for 10 years, 12 years. You've been on it for a long time. Taking advantage of a sale on a device with the carrier that you have been with for such a long time and don't see yourself leaving anytime soon, then that would be beneficial to you, because you would get the phone at a discounted price, or even allowed the opportunity to make payments on the phone as you're using the services you've always been using. So you're good. You're okay. There is this mythical thing that people are saying, and I say it's a mythical thing because it's not been proven, but they say like longtime loyal customers, say like a person's been with Boost Mobile for 10 years, and they've always brought their own phone to Boost Mobile. When they upgrade phones, they basically buy unlocked phones that's capable to run on Boost Mobile, and they get it activated on there, and they've been using it, right? They always say, like, Boost Mobile shows its ugly teeth when you decide to finance a device and upgrade through them. And then that's where you start to see the negative stuff with Boost Mobile. That's when they start, not giving extra attentive care to you as a customer of 10 years. Because they think like they got you hooked with that finance device. Like, you're never gonna leave. We got you by the balls now. You got a Moto G Power 2026. Left testicle mine. Yeah, they they act that way sometimes. And then it's like, keep your phone. And I got a desk full of phones. I'll go somewhere else. Like, fuck you. I'll go somewhere else. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's just my advice to everybody. Like, don't make it into a giant deal, because even if even if things seem bleak and dark, right? Because even I was thinking that way for a little bit. And then I was actually like just sitting and thinking. And I was like, why am I even fucking sweating Verizon and their device unlock policy change? I don't use them. And the phones that I buy unlocked, so I don't have to worry about that. I know some people will, and that opens the door to other BS that these companies can conjure up while they're doing their little voodoo and hoodoo and, decide to screw the customers some more. I get it. I think we should stop telling people to vote with your wallets. We should stop telling people to stop spending your money with them, and actually do it and see what happens. Let's not just talk a game, let's play the fucking game. Let's see what happens if that actually manipulates these carriers to start giving a little back towards the customer instead of taking everything in and leaving us with scraps. Of course, that would definitely mean a period in time where people kind of stop using their smartphones. But hey, you know what else kind of like rides along with that? When people say, stop being on your phone, man, get outside and touch some grass. Okay. If you're not paying for services, you're not spending money on them, they're losing money. At the same time, if you're taking that time to take a break away from social media and to value more of real life, yeah, that's taking out two birds with one stone. Why not? We should do that. But one thing I know is that when you do like a call to arms and stuff like that, there's people that, just always want to bump heads. This is why we don't really get shit done today. Because everyone's more about arguing and battling and fighting and all that other stuff. Paul Tech, man, been a long time since you've been in here, bro. How you doing? Also, love the ride-alongs with your bikes on various platforms. If you guys don't know, Paul Tech has been on here for a long time, and he's still doing videos. Just not in the mobile tech space, because the mobile tech space is kind of like getting too crowded, and it's also getting pretty stale. So he changes up, and he has like electric bikes, electric scooters, what is it? I would call it like triathlon type bikes. The was it 10 speeds and stuff like that. And man, you riding bikes for like what, 11 miles, 12 miles. Going on these nature walks and just taking time to yourself for mental health growth, man. Those are some really badass videos, bro. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing your thing. I love it. Yeah, I will never ask you to come back into this whole thing with YouTube and tech phones and stuff like that, man. I really enjoy your new video content that you've been doing. Well, it's not really new. It'll be new to other people who's been wondering where you've been, but for those of us who follow you and kept following you, we know what you've been doing. No, but crazy enough as is, man. Yeah, just buy unlocked if that stuff worries you. If you don't care and you're loyal to the carrier you're with, then take the deals. You ain't got nothing to lose there. Save money and whatever, and get that phone. Yeah, that's my take on it. So yeah, it does suck. It is trapping customers, but it's only trapping customers that want to leave. Eventually, I'll get back to mobile reviews. It's definitely my first passion. I'm really enjoying the e-bike ride videos. Yeah, man. Whatever you're doing, we're here and we're supporting you. If you guys aren't subscribed to Paul Tech, those of you guys who are with me on here, head on over to his channel real quick and give a subscribe. Check out his past content, because yeah, he's been around for a while. Paul Tech, B Tech reviews, Tech Rights, Magic Tech reviews, CV Tech, JG Tech blog. Yeah, man, nostalgic stuff in good times. Which also kind of correlates with the whole phone thing, and like I tell people all the time, I'm a big fan of Pixels right here. Big fan of Pixels. Always have, always will be for the time being, right? No one really knows what the future holds. Maybe Pixel does something that I don't agree with strongly, and just say peace and I'm out, type of thing. That's a possibility that could happen. But for right now, I like Pixels. But I would tell people this: as much as I like Pixels, I'm not deluded to just tell you get a new Pixel, just upgrade. You just got the 9A. You really like the phone. The 10A is coming out on February 17th. You better be buying that one. Fuck no, I'm not gonna tell you guys that. Save your money. Save your money for stuff. Going from the 9A to the 10A, I don't think is a significant jump. It's like going from the Pixel 9 to the Pixel 10 is not a significant jump. Even though people are out there shouting like it's a downgrade on the camera, it's a downgrade on this, it's a downgrade on that. It's like every time I hear that this is downgraded, that is downgraded, I just think Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, hurry up to get to the helicopter, but get down. Like, that's all I hear in my head. Downgrade. They messed up the cameras. Get down. Like, dude, I get it. If cameras so important to people that they gotta like knock on that, don't buy the phone. Buy something else. There's options. iPhone, Samsung, Motorola. There's options. Xiaomi, Redmi, Poco, Huawei, Honor. There's options. But it's really not a reason to upgrade. I want to help with other creators who have created this trend where they're trying to let people know you really don't have to upgrade. And like, yes, that's the reason why, like, alongside my Pixel 10, I'm using my Pixel 7. This is about to be a 4-year-old phone, and it still works pretty good. And I've said in a shorts video on my, well, not a shorts video, but a video recently released on my second channel, which I'm going to be sharing this segment too. So if I say this channel, I'm not actually, like referencing, short side attack, but I'm referencing, pixel side load. But anyways, the Pixel 7 works. The same as my Pixel 9a that I use as a webcam works. Same as my Pixel 10. And the way that I use my Pixel 10, it works. It works. And in the same way, I don't see a drastic difference. Like, I know there's people that have off the wall experiences. People that'll comment like, my phone's overheating and it's doing this and it filed my taxes and got me audited. Like, okay, yeah, weird. Your phone did that. Not everybody else's phone does that. There is such thing as called bad batches. There is such thing as called that 1 in a million. It happens. Does it make that person who's complaining their experience bad? No. Does it make those who say I haven't experienced it? Then does it make them 100% right? No, it doesn't either. Some people do have some really quirky and strange experiences. I'm just saying this though. At the end of the day, and the way that the Pixel 7 is intended to work, which I would say mine is working the way it's intended to, is very good, and on par with my 9a and with my Pixel 10. So I don't really see a reason that I can't use my Pixel 7 as a secondary backup, live streaming device, because that's what I'm really using it for. If I live stream publicly, if I'm doing Amazon Flex with my wife and we're delivering packages and I want to just like share the moment, or if I want to be on a live stream while doing that, I can with that device as my secondary device, and then I have my main device, the Pixel 10. But between them two, I wouldn't have no problem. Like, if you put like a casing around both phones that did not expose the design of the phone, so I couldn't tell which was what, to me they would all operate the same. And so that's the thing, really people gotta get off this whole I'm gonna upgrade every year. And I'm really happy to see other content creators kind of starting to share that idea, because I don't think people really realize like how much they're spending every year just for a new phone, just to say you have the latest new phone. It's ridiculous. And I think one of the contributors to that is the fact that there's content creators who review phones. People have blurred the lines between a content creator who buys phones to review them, so that way you don't have to buy the phone and try to figure out if it's going to be a good phone for you or not. We do it. We get these phones and we review them, so then that way you can hear what our experience was and then use that to help you with your purchasing decision. And the line has been blurred where there's people who feel like they have to carry 2 or 3 phones. Because their favorite content creator carries 2 or 3 phones. They're like, I carry 2 or 3 phones, but they don't do speed testing on any networks. They don't have a YouTube channel they're running. They're not on TikTok posting videos. They're not on Instagram posting content. They're doing absolutely nothing. They're just having 3 phones so that when they watch their favorite content creator live or they watch their latest video, they themselves can comment in the comment section like, yeah, my Galaxy S25 is running pretty decent and optimal. My Pixel 10 is doing okay, but I think the Tensor G5 could use a little bit more power, but my iPhone 17 is just amazing. Like, okay, we get it. You bought 3 phones, you got 3 different services. Now you're using 3 phones and you're pretty much locking yourself into this crazed universe where people got to tell you to touch grass. That's where the whole term comes from. Like, go outside and touch some grass, because there's some people who's heavily immersed into these micro computers. Like the whole new thing that's coming up, which is going to be Monday's thesis or Monday's discussion that I talk about, is smartphones now taking a step over that wall. Not about cameras, not about, it's still going to be about AI, but there's a new category coming in, a new change. Something that kind of breaks that ceiling if it catches on like wildfire. And that is the fact that smartphones are starting to now be able to attach to a monitor and become a portable PC. The next phone, which a lot of people are talking about, which runs Android, it runs Windows, and I think it runs Linux. If you plug it into a monitor, it's a full-blown computer. It's kind of like Samsung and DeX, right? It does the same thing. And I think that's what's going to happen. So in the middle of last year, I talked about how Google was on this pathway to for home computing. And maybe they don't need to build a home computer rig in order to start selling home PCs that are from Google. But if Pixels with a much larger battery can dock, and as a matter of fact, the dock should be able to keep the phone charged, but if it can dock into something that connects to a monitor, paired with, a mouse and a keyboard, you got a home computer. Like, can you imagine recording on your Pixel, video content, and then you go home and you connect it to your dock, which is connected to your monitors, and you open up YouTube Create to do an edit using a mouse and keyboard? That's going to make things very interesting. And I think that's what the future of smartphones is heading towards. Is the reason why that AI is so emphasized. I mean, Apple would jump on something like this if they thought it up first and was able to perfect it before everybody else. I'm sure the Apple iPhone would then allow to be docked to something called the iDock, connected to a Mac display and become a Mac computer. It's possible. But I think that's where we're going with smartphones. I think that's the next evolutionary step. I really believe in 20 years, we're going to have it to where our smartphones go on this dock that is like multi-purpose. And the dock connects to your smart TV, it connects to your smart speaker for music, it connects to your monitors for home computing. And all you got to do is just dock your phone there and everything's on it. People always talked about getting microchipped in the skin. Yeah, they probably thought about that, but they decided not to because this is our microchip in the skin. It don't look like it, so you're not worried about it, but everything you do is tied to this nowadays. Everything you do. You do your banking on this. You share your thoughts of the day with people that don't even know you, and then you get so comfortable that you really believe that other people give a shit about what you think. So you share it. Unfiltered. You argue with people on here, so you get your stress levels from here too. People record extracurricular videos. And yeah. People do it. Everything is on your phone. So that is the microchip in your skin that's supposed to have every information about you. Your phone does. My wife, she just shocked one of her employees the other day. One of her employees has an iPhone, and her whole phone got hacked. Like, she was talking to my wife about it. She was like, someone got into her bank account, cleaned out her bank account. They got into her iCloud. They got all kinds of stuff. So yesterday, my wife, this is where the girl found out that my wife knew about things. And then my wife was telling her, like, well, my husband, for fun, he goes on YouTube and talks about tech. And I guess she showed my YouTube channel to her coworker. I told her not to do that because I don't like people knowing that I do this stuff. My wife was telling her, she was like, because the girl was like, oh, it seems like that, the person who got into my iPhone and hacked my banking apps and all my other stuff and took everything is now in my new iPhone, and I just bought this today and I just set it up. And then my wife was telling her, she was like, well, it wasn't the iPhone. It wasn't the old iPhone technically, but they gain access into your iCloud and your Google account, right? So they got access to everything. And because she got a new iPhone and went through the setup process and signed into the same iCloud account, now her new phone is affected because that person is able to get access to that iPhone and whatever's on there because they're in like Flynn, So yeah. When my wife explained it to her coworker about that, her coworker's like, how do you know this stuff? She's like, my husband. And I'm just like, yeah, because these things are everything to us. We trust these pieces of tech, these microcomputers and everything, That would be great. Just dock it. That's the biggest problem with old devices, battery life. Yeah, I think this is also, so like, to me, the signs are there that we're going into this age of docking your smartphone and it being the all-in-one for all control of your house entertainment and everything like that. And the reason why is a storage capacity getting bigger, battery life is getting not only just bigger, but we're switching technology, right? We're moving away from lithium ion batteries and we're removing the silicon carbon batteries, right? Silicon carbon batteries can have a bigger battery capacity, but still be, retrofitted into a small space. So the battery can be designed to be small, and yet it's packing more than what a lithium ion battery has, right? That's why you're seeing OnePlus with 7,500 milliamp hour batteries. You're seeing batteries in China. Certain brands are coming up with phones that have like 10,000 milliamps, 15,000 milliamps, and they're silicon carbon batteries, and that's what we're moving towards, right? So that would probably be the thing that I'll upgrade for my Pixel 10. Is when there's a bit more to upgrade for, and a future Pixel having silicon carbon and at least over 10,000 milliamps of battery would then be something that I would be interested in upgrading to for my Pixel 10. So like the Pixel 11, I'll probably go to Best Buy to play around with the phone. I don't want to buy the phone and own it and all this other stuff because I have like too many damn phones on my desk. And also at the same time too, I like the Pixel 10, and so I want to see if it really can go 7 years, because people don't believe that it has the headway to last the test of times. And that was today's video on the Pixel Sideload channel. So that way, if you guys want to subscribe to it, just look for it, just plug it in the search, Pixel Sideload, and then filter it, just choose channel and you'll find it. It's got a little thing of a Pixel as a profile pic. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, Pixel 10, I'm gonna use it till its last software update, more or less. So I think the Pixel 11 I won't grab probably till later. So let me clear this up clearly. I won't get it at day of release. I may not get it the same year that it is released. I will eventually get them, but that's like down the road. So while everyone else gets their unboxing reviews done and their 1 week impression, 2 weeks impression, 3 weeks impression, 6 month impression, 1 year impression, maybe then I'll start dropping videos on the Pixel 11 where I'm just like, yeah, real Pixel fan here, real user gets Pixel 11 and uses it, That would be absolutely cool to be able to do that. Like, I like staying on the sidelines because it's not really being sidelined and depriving myself of people discovering me and then catching my videos and views. But the reason why did I sideline myself is because I don't want to be in the mix of all the noise. I'd rather be the guy that people look at and they're like, that's the odd man out over there. What's he about? That actually come to me and then figure out what I'm about. And if they like what I do on my channels, then they subscribe and they stay, This morning I was a little sad because I woke up this morning, I was at 49 subscribers. I was like, yay, on the Pixel Sideload channel, I was at 49 subscribers. And then by 9 a.m. this morning, it dropped back down to 47. I'm like, oh, 2 people didn't like me and they left. But hey, I still appreciate that they gave my channel a chance. So big thumbs up to those who departed, unless they lost their channels for some reason. I don't know. But yeah. So anyways, you don't have to upgrade every year for a smartphone. You can enjoy the phone that you have a little bit longer, especially if you paid a lot for it, right? You better get your money's worth out of it before you decide to upgrade to something else and trade it in. Because that's like one of the things too, right? Like, get a brand new Galaxy S25 Ultra and you used it for like 11 and a half months and then you're going to trade it in to get the S26 Ultra. Like, you didn't even use it a year or two. Phones, at times, people say that they get bad over time. Not always. Sometimes it's not the phone getting bad. Sometimes it's our perception that changes, right? And it's like a placebo effect too, right? Good friend of yours, family, relative, or that one annoying cousin that always rubs things in your face comes in and shows a brand new phone they bought. Because they got a brand new phone, you feel like your phone is obsolete because your phone is not brand new. It's not, you're not feeling that excitement of just holding it for the first time, right? Like, I'll tell you guys, when I got my Pixel 10, I was nerd up all over the place. Let me get me some pictures. Let me use, and then like doing it in public too. Let me get this 20 times zoom here. See if I can get a shot of the full moon. Like, check this out for a full moon shot. Yeah. I mean, guilty. I was doing it. I was fucking doing it. Okay. You guys are gonna laugh at me if you want to. You guys can laugh at me if you want to. Go ahead. It was brand new, and I was excited. I get excited. You know, I'm not crazy excited for tech. I just enjoy tech. I like tech, and I like sharing what I learn about it and what I know about it. So that way everyone's got a fighting chance. That's just me. But anyhow, yeah, you know, been on here for a cool bit. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend, great Friday, great Saturday, great Sunday. Yeah, you know. And yeah, if you're not subscribed to the Pixel Sideload, go check it out. I'll add the link in the description after the live stream's over. If you guys want to go check it out, I'd appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make breakfast. You guys hungry? If you guys was here, I would cook breakfast for you guys. I'm just saying. You know, I don't mind. I like to cook. Sometimes I pretend I'm Chef Ramsay or Emerald Lagasse. We're gonna add a little bit of this multi-purpose seasoning. Bam! I do that stuff in the kitchen. That's why I never make videos showing myself cooking, because I get stupid with it. But I have a lot of fun because culinary is one of my hobbies too as well. Anyways, I'm not gonna keep you guys here very long. So yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be cool, be safe. I love you guys very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, aloha.